Chapter 22-23, Luke Caron vs. Wood, Conclusion. That terrifying storm attempted to engulf the super battleship. Even if it couldn't destroy it, it could at least throw it off balance, preventing Luke Caron from controlling the crows. But in the end, he was disappointed. The Tsanyuan tribe, whose technological civilization far surpassed the Wulwan Empire, had forged this super battleship with their pinnacle technology. How could a mere storm possibly shake it? A massive ellipsoidal energy shield enveloped the battleship's surface, absorbing all forms of energy assaulted upon it. Even physical attacks could not penetrate it. The desperate solution Wood had devised had no effect whatsoever. At that moment, Wood lifted off the ground, and the crows pursued him. Caw! Caw! The crows screeched, their dark eyes darting like high-powered cameras, scanning every movement within a vast radius. They calculated Wood's position and even his potential escape routes. Over 3,000 mechanical flying crows formed an immense net, completely trapping him in hypnosis. Pop! They fluttered, opening their beaks in the sky to spew terrifying laser beams. These beams interwove like a net of heaven, closing in on Wood and rapidly contracting. If struck, Wood's body would shatter like tofu sliced by steel wire, exploding into tens of thousands of nail-sized fragments. Break! Wood roared, unleashing the power of word spirit. Huge black characters slammed into the laser net. Boom! The collision of the power of rules with pure laser energy triggered a massive explosion. Luke Caron sat in her chair, the console displaying the entire scene of the Wulwan Empire. Everything was under her control. She fixed her gaze on Wood, a red targeting reticle locking onto his body. Without hesitation, Luke Caron pressed the firing button before her. Among the three warships, the main cannon on the right instantly pivoted, locking onto Wood and unleashing a terrifying strike. The energy expended in a single shot rivaled 5 Reaper of Love missiles, an incredibly extravagant expenditure. In the past, even Zhang Yi himself would have hesitated to use such power unless facing a formidable foe. But this time, Zhang Yi was exceptionally generous with those around him. He had said, as long as it ensured their safety and truly defeated the enemy, they should fear no waste. Their preparations were thorough, and after the war, the resources accumulated by the Wulwan Empire over billions of years would compensate for their losses. The warship's main cannon plummeted from the heavens, piercing through thousands of meters of space. Its sheer girth could engulf an area spanning thousands of square meters. Wood stood directly at the epicenter of this strike. Exhausted from fending off the crow swarm's assault, he sensed the impending doom of the cannon's attack. Yet, evading it was utterly beyond his reach. After all, the power of his word spirit was insufficient to propel him swiftly to safety. Wood's pupils dilated as he strained his voice, burning his last reserves of energy. Blood gushed from his throat as he roared, "Block every attack that harms me." The moment the words left his lips, the main cannon's beam descended. True to his wish, the strike was blocked. But what followed was a devastating backlash of his own power. His body shattered like porcelain. From his skull to his torso and limbs, the resilient lizard-like skin felt as if gripped by some powerful force, then violently yanked. Rip! The sound of tearing fabric echoed repeatedly. His body was nearly torn apart, blood gushing out wildly. Blood gushed from his throat, gurgling out until he could utter not a single word. Gurgle. Gurgle. His mouth opened wide, desperately trying to speak. But the shrill cawing of crows filled his ears. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! In an instant, his body was completely engulfed by a swarm of crows. Blood and severed limbs flew everywhere as the mechanical crows dismembered him in the most primitive manner, using their e-metal beaks to tear him apart. In the end, only that undispersed origin remained, soaring up into the sky. Wood's battle against Luke Caron held no suspense whatsoever. Purely in terms of destructive power, Luke Caron, capable of commanding a super battleship, posed a lethal threat to even a bishop-tier mutant. And this assessment was based solely on the super battleship being unarmed, little more than a crude shell. It was unimaginable how terrifying a super battleship built by the Tsan tribe at its peak, fully equipped and resourced, would be. Clatter. A raven flapped its wings, landing before Luke Karen. In its beak was a translucent metal canister, dark green metal flanking a transparent center. Sealed within lay Wood's origin power. This silver armor general of the Wulwan Empire had become the first silver armor-level combatant to fall on the battlefield. Luke Karen stored his origin away, choosing not to use it herself. This belongs to my brother. He'll decide how to distribute it. She felt no hesitation about this. In her eyes, her brother's every decision was the most correct. Dayu Lake. The largest lake within the Wulwan Empire, it lay at the junction of the Eastern City, Northern City, and Central District, covering an immense area of over 3,000 square kilometers. A colossal beast plummeted from the sky, crashing into Dayu Lake with a thunderous impact. Giant waves surged, instantly killing numerous bizarre subterranean fish that floated belly up. Soon, the immense form surfaced, none other than the Black Tortoise of the East Sea region. Black Tortoise was an adept at land combat, though he wasn't entirely incapable either. It was just that once on land, many of his strengths were difficult to utilize. Nevertheless, he had come for this battle, teaming up with Vermilion Bird. After all, Zhang Yi had united every possible force to ensure a flawless victory. Phew, thank goodness there's water here. Much more comfortable. Underground is so dry, it's really hard to adjust. Black Tortoise's grumbling echoed in Vermilion Bird's ear. Perched atop his head, Vermilion Bird wore a sea blue combat suit. Her long, ice blue hair cascaded down to her lower back, and her entire being radiated a frigid aura. Though icy, she was undeniably a user of unique flame abilities within the trait system. Ice Prison Vermilion Bird, her flames were frigid. While other flames burned to release energy, her power absorbed all external energy through magnificent ice absorption. Chapter 22-24, The Power of the Eight Gods. Animo hearing Black Tortoise's grumbling, Vermilion Bird replied icily, Black Tortoise, snap out of it. Don't lose points. We're representing the East Sea region. Everyone from the East Sea region below us bears the mission to wash away our disgrace. Without fighting a hard battle, how can we earn the East Sea region any respect? Black Tortoise responded in a dull tone, I don't need you to remind me of that. I'm well aware. Standing in the vast lake, though bickering, they dared not take the approaching enemy lightly. They knew full well how powerful the enemy was. Ripples spread across the water's surface. From a great distance, something enormous and terrifying was drawing near. Zhu Yu's eyes narrowed. It's coming. On the distant horizon, a colossal gray shadow rapidly approached, cleaving the lake water as though a super warship charged toward them. Black Tortoise narrowed his eyes slightly as they recognized the creature. This entity was no stranger to them, they had clashed with it several times before. Animo, the deputy commander of the Southern Military District, wielding the power of 8 gods. He alone had unleashed the colossal tsunami that had ravaged the southeastern coast. During that period, Animo patrolled the seas with the silver armor generals of the Wulwan Empire, slaughtering any humans they encountered. This forced the entire population of East Sea City underground. Even Black Tortoise had to temporarily take refuge in a dugout underground water pit, enduring confinement for nearly half a year. Enemies meeting face to face only intensified their mutual hatred. Animo approached the waters where Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird lay. A gray shadow emerged above the surface, resembling a colossal ship's sail. It was, in fact, an enormous dorsal fin. Beneath the waves lay Animo's true form, a ghost shark over 200 meters long, towering even above Black Tortoise. Here it comes! Vermilion Bird raised both hands high, her supple yet powerful palms crossing overhead. Then, with a fierce thrust, she unleashed a torrent of surging ice-blue flames toward the waters ahead. The surface began to freeze rapidly, the power of the magnificent ice spreading across the lake. Animo sensed the peculiar energy but paid it little heed. These two minor figures had merely cowered during their attack on East Sea City. Now facing them again, Animo remained utterly contemptuous. Boom! His colossal form leapt from beneath the surface, hurtling through the air like a bullet to bite at Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird. Its massive jaws, lined with vicious barbs, seemed poised to tear off half of both Vermilion Bird and Black Tortoise. Vermilion Bird, retreat! Black Tortoise issued the warning. Vermilion Bird, meanwhile, used the power of Ice Flame to scorch Animo while simultaneously sprouting a pair of enormous wings from its back, soaring skyward. Icy blue flames engulfed the ghost shark, and Animo instantly felt his strength drain away, as if plunged into ice over 100 degrees below zero. This flame didn't feel like ordinary flame. The ability intrigued him. But that was all. Compared to his massive frame, this level of energy drain posed no lethal threat. Thus, he dismissed the weak female human, focusing solely on the feast before him. Sharks, after all, eat sea turtles. The ghost shark opened its monstrous maw, striking directly at Black Tortoise's tortoise shell. Crack! Its razor-sharp teeth collided with the thick shell, producing a metallic clang. The ghost shark exerted its strength, and even Black Tortoise's formidable shell began to crack. But the ghost shark wasn't faring much better. Several of its outermost fangs snapped off. Its massive body slammed down onto Black Tortoise, dragging him both into the lake. Crash! Water splashed everywhere. Black Tortoise's body retreated into the protection of his thick shell, showing no urgency to strike first. Instead, it waited until both bodies sank deep into the lake before abruptly turning underwater. Its head shot out like a bullet, lunging to bite at the ghost shark's gills. The ghost shark's reflexes were equally swift. It spun away from the attack, then twisted its massive body underwater into a bow shape, snapping at the Black Tortoise's flippers. The two colossal beasts engaged in a primal battle beneath the waves. Behind the ice flame Vermilion Bird, azure wings unfurled. Witnessing their underwater struggle, she didn't hesitate. Ice blue flames erupted from her palms. The lake's surface, upon contact with the magnificent ice, began to freeze rapidly. Soon, the entire lake was sealed by solid ice. The lake's deepest point reached a kilometer, and once frozen, the movements of both aquatic beasts were severely restricted. Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird's strategy was to use Black Tortoise's formidable defense to stall the ghost shark, then freeze both creatures solid. If the ice flame Vermilion Bird could use the magnificent ice to absorb the power within the ghost shark, their numerical advantage would secure victory. Initially, the ghost shark dismissed the Vermilion Bird, assuming its power was merely freezing. Yet as the ice flame's force surged toward him, the chill grew increasingly unsettling. It didn't feel like external cold seeping in, more like the power within his own body was being siphoned out. Black Tortoise appeared clumsy, but its movements underwater were anything but slow. Hidden within his armor, he launched an attack against the ghost shark's massive frame by rapidly retracting his head. Pop! Black Tortoise opened its massive jaws. Deep within its throat, the reactor, forged by the East Sea region's most advanced military technology, began to activate. A deep blue energy cannon blasted forth, using its throat as the barrel. Dark Light Cannon. Dark Light Cannon aimed directly at the ghost shark's massive body. The surrounding waters rapidly froze, making it difficult for the ghost shark to maneuver here. Its body shook violently, shattering large chunks of solid ice. Yet facing the Dark Light Cannon's point-blank assault, the ghost shark had no choice but to counter. A massive mass of compressed water coalesced in its maw. With a gurgling roar, the water was compressed into a sphere just 5 meters in diameter before erupting violently. The water cannon collided with the Black Tortoise's Dark Light Cannon, instantly forming a towering water column that shattered the ice. Animo watched the lake rapidly freeze over around him, a cold smile spreading across his mind. Bayou Lake was freshwater, freezing easily, making movement difficult for him in his ghost shark form. Engaging Black Tortoise head-on would inevitably draw constant harassment from the woman above the lake, the one with blue-flamed wings. With this thought, he thrust his tail with tremendous force, twisting his body to surge skyward from beneath the water. Shattering over 10 meters of ice, he shot straight toward the heavens. As the ghost shark ascended, his form underwent constant transformation. His body shrank, sprouting dense black feathers and razor-sharp claws.